Hey, it's George Hardy from Troll 2 and Best Worst Movie and Texas Cotton, and we're here from the Cinema Psycho Show, one of the world's best podcasts. So come on out and listen, and just remember, you can't piss on Cinema Psycho's show. Oh, God.
Nailed it. That's it right there.
Oh, goody, goody, here it comes.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show.
You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Oh, my God, don't stop now!
With your hosts, Brian, John, and Elaine.
Welcome to the Cinema Psycho Show with Madhouse for film freaks and film fans of all types. I'm your host, Brian Cuddington, joined by my fellow co-hosts and filmmakers, John and Elaine Woolscroft.
If you both could have one wish this Christmas season, what would it be?
It would be to never have to watch these specials again.
I was going to say, you read my mind, Lane, because what the fuck did you get us into?
Wrong answer, world peace.
Wrong answer, world peace.
I just want to say, John, one, this is episode 121. So we're in there. And this is what do we want to call this? Return of the Christmas sack?
Yeah, just individual
Revenge of the
lumps
Christmas
in the sack.
The resackening.
Doctors will tell you that an individual lump in your sack is a lot easier to deal with.
Well, there's
That's
two.
fair.
We got two lumps in the sack. So I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
We need a specialist. We need our HMO.
Yeah, but so if you're not familiar with the Christmas sack, last year was kind of the first year that we did it, right?
Yeah.
And basically, it is the worst. Last year, we did worst TV specials of popular shows, but all done around Christmas.
They hurt me.
And they were
hurt.
very painful to watch. Mr. T one was really bad.
You know, like watching a young David Copperfield hit on a 9-year-old?
No,
That shit
was
was
that
not
was fucked
cute.
up.
Was not cute.
The Walker Texas Ranger one was full of Jesus.
So much Jesus.
So much Jesus under that beard. So
And Alf, a little kid, died.
No, the Alf one.
that one. Okay, that one was amazing.
It might be my favorite, and not just because our friend Marta came on the show and hung with us and talked Alf and talked about her Alf tent as a kid, which was like the greatest thing. But no, that it was like about a dying child, which, guys, it doesn't sound like gold, but it was.
It was gold.
Now that it's dead, we can eat it, right?
Whoa.
And Alf unhinged his jaw and ate that night like a king.
He did.
Like a king.
Feast of the 7 joints.
So anyway, this year, John, you whittled down our sack to 2,
Some might even say I outdid myself.
and you did.
You could say that.
So this year we're focusing on children's specials, correct?
Is that what we would
if you
call
want to
them?
call them?
Yeah.
that. Like,
Yeah.
these were like
they are intended technically
Yeah.
for children.
They're intended for children. These are cartoons.
I don't know how, but okay.
And they are horrible. You picked 2. This is the first one of our 2-parter. Okay, so this is lump number 1 of your sack.
Lump number 1, boys and
You're
girls.
going to want to get checked. So this week we're looking at. Oh God, this one was bad. Not as bad as next week's. And that is the 1991 ABC classic, The Christmas Tree.
The Christmas Tree.
The
yes.
Christmas Tree.
Which
Which is a generic name.
aired one time on USA, and they abandoned
it was on ABC, wasn't it?
No, it might have. Well, I thought it was
ABC.
USA. The thing is, one thing you have to understand about
Nobody
our confusion
knows.
here. Yeah, the information on this is so scarce. Anybody involved with this, in terms of creating it or distributing it, have tried to wash their hands of it.
Oh, and that makes total sense.
This is like the Star Wars holiday special. If you're aware of that, how George Lucas tried to destroy every copy so that nobody would ever see it, and now wherever you go, there's a copy wherever you go.
Yeah.
Suck that, George. But, this is the same situation with this. Like, in my attempt at research for this episode, there's so little information on the internet to find on this thing. But I really
Fortunately,
suggest
it is online, and we are going to post a link to it.
yes, please.
Both of these we're going to
Check out the link first.
I don't think anyone's going to give a shit about copyright on this thing.
Well, I don't even care if they do.
It's on fucking YouTube.
Yeah,
dude.
nobody's gonna nobody's gonna come after us. They don't want any acknowledgement that they're a part of it.
Seriously.
But as we said when we talk about B movies, like if it just exists entirely on YouTube with no ads,
And
and
no
no
one
one
takes it
cares.
down.
Yeah,
It's
there,
true.
There you go. And yeah, pause this right now, watch it, and come back, because I feel sometimes we talk about these pantheons, like you need to experience what we're gonna lay down.
Yeah.
So it's only 40 minutes. Do yourself a favor, watch it, and then come back to us. We'll wait 40 minutes in utter silence.
They both reached out to like invisible watches on their wrists, dear listeners, in case you wondered what was happening on our end.
Yeah.
They both pulled out a fake watch on their wrist, and they
Lane,
were both looking at their wrists.
Doing a bit. I'm breathing heavily into the microphone.
heavily into the microphone.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
That's the next 40
you
minutes.
waiting for the next
Yeah.
40 minutes. Well, hey,
or just pause it and come back.
So one thing I will say though is that even though its origins and making of and whatnot is kind of nebulous, it looks like it has been pretty heavily consumed. It does definitely have cult status, I would say, at this point. Just because if you do, the search and try to read it or watch it, dear listeners, you'll see that a lot of other people have too, and there's a lot of reviews out there for it.
Nostalgia Critic named this one, I think, the worst Christmas special of all
He
time.
did, and I think
He said it was the
just,
worst?
Well,
Okay.
he just hasn't watched. He hadn't watched Rhapsody
I was gonna
Kids
say.
yet. That's the only reason.
Rhapsody Kids is by far
You
the
know,
worst
and-
one.
See, I'm a big fan of his. I didn't know he did Rhapsody Kids.
He did, and
Which
I
Rhapsody
really,
Kids is next week's episode. So
And
in
I
case you're
thought-
wondering what the fuck we're talking about.
and I thought Doug, the nostalgia critic, I thought he was going to have a stroke in both episodes. He gets so upset, and it's awesome because they're so upsetting.
I think that's about
so upsetting.
50% acting.
Yeah.
It's fair.
Nothing
but
against Nostalgia Critic, but I think
but-
it's 50% acting.
Shall we dig in?
Oh God, yes.
Should we talk about first, before we break this down, everything that's wrong with it? Do we have enough time? We
I
don't
don't
like
think
these
we
episodes
do.
going 6 hours, but
No,
let's,
but I mean, let's see
break down.
let's see where the night takes
Yeah.
us, guys.
Let's see everything that's
Yeah.
wrong. Which is, some people call this the room of Christmas specials.
Ooh, I didn't see that. I feel like that's a lot. I don't.
I don't think I would give it that.
Accept. I don't accept.
No,
But what is the Star Wars holiday special?
Yeah.
Okay.
That
Agreed.
one is.
Yes.
I would say that next week's episode is the Birdemic of Christmas specials.
That's fair. About
Okay.
the same type of animation.
And this
talent.
one is kind of like a Troll 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's bearable. I can get through it.
Okay.
It hurts.
It hurts.
You mean Troll 2? You mean starring friend of the show, George Hardy?
Friend of the show.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Did you hear the bumper at the beginning of the episode? That's him
Yeah.
saying, you can't
Trying
piss on the
to
Cinema
say.
Psycho show. He tried.
do-
He tried
real hard.
He tried his best.
Can we
It was
talk?
late.
I mean, he was the nicest guy ever. Like, my God, he was so nice.
And we're going to interview him
Yes.
in the near future.
Yep, we're real excited about it. Yeah, super nice guy. But anyway,
Yeah. So what's
it is
wrong with-
Christmas,
with
and
this
there
special?
is a Christmas tree.
Oh.
So there, I feel like we should maybe do a little brief synopsis of the show.
Yeah.
So I guess Brian and I were talking about this. We're apparently a half an hour away from the North freaking Pole.
Yes.
Apparently.
So it opens up with this narrator talking about Christmas,
Narrator trope.
and it's the dialogue in this is just god fucking awful. And
really
somehow
bad.
we end up getting to this storybook that opens up, and it's
okay.
on an orphanage run by a miserable old bitch.
Miserable old bitch.
Let's be
Wow.
honest here. That's what
Coming out hot.
That's what the bitch's name is.
Hot
Miserable old
take.
bitch.
If you take a look at her, though,
Hot
she was clearly a smoke show back in the day, right? Like in her 20s. Like if you saw old photos of her.
Oh yeah. She was definitely. She hung out at poker games and apparently blew money like it was water. So
Yeah. That's not the only thing she blew.
I'm literally gonna vomit. Can we move on?
But anyway, it all centers on this orphanage with these doe-eyed, soulless children who live there, run by the miserable old bitch. And ultimately, she takes the money that the mayor gives her in giant green sacks every couple weeks. It looks like.
Yeah, he just brings money in big cartoon sacks. Like, here you go.
Here you go for the children.
And wait, does
then
the
she-
mayor fund the orphanages? That's not a
Yes.
thing?
Yeah.
He just has money for the orphans.
But
I
she
guess.
she basically takes the money and blows it on gambling with her loser friends. And and doesn't give any food to the orphans or clothes or anything like that. And
there's a delightful scene when their clothes are taken off. So
Oh,
if you're
yes.
like a weird pervert.
Yes, because
If you're a weird pervert
And
okay.
into like cartoon naked kids. There you go.
Well, the miserable old
Perfect.
bitch basically she only has one set of clothes that are nice, and she puts that on the kids in front of the mayor to make it appear like she's not a miserable old bitch.
Just two
but
of them.
She is.
Yeah.
Yeah, just two of them. Just randomly two.
her show ponies.
Well, here's my question. Wouldn't the mayor, after a while, say, why are you putting the same clothes on them over and over again?
He does not look like the most observant.
I was gonna
no.
say, I'm not gonna lie. The mayor did not just strike me as a thinker.
Let's be honest here. He's got the brain power of Mayor McCheese, okay?
Those sacks are full of crab meat.
And
They're not
see,
even full of money.
They're full of crab meat. Now, see, I thought that he was more like Scrooge McDuck because that's like an acceptable time for money to be doled out in bag
But
form.
Scrooge McDuck wouldn't be giving money in the first place because he has to have it in his giant vault to jump in.
He's down. He knows it down to the penny.
You
he
need to know
does.
what's up.
Which, according to like the Forbes list of richest fictional characters, Scrooge McDuck, I think, is the wealthiest
Oh, yeah.
of all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Easily. That's not even a question.
Easily. But anyway, this is all in like the prologue, okay, of the story. But really it picks up with this couple and their two children that arrive in town. They don't really tell us what time period this takes place, but you get the feeling that it's like...
It's sometime between 1890 and 2000.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
pretty
like
much.
it's like the '89 Batman movie.
It is very
It just skews different timelines. Whatever.
It's just like I looked at it and I'm like, okay, why is the Judy character in a bonnet yet is driving a car and
Well, before you continue,
talking about trying to get work? Like, what?
I thought about this today. I think that this is a combination of two things. Have you guys seen the thing on the internet where like those supercomputers will watch like 1,000 commercials and then they'll come up with like an Olive Garden
Oh my
commercial?
God, yes. Or the Harry
Yes.
Potter thing.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
so funny.
Yeah, and it's like the most generic, or writes a love song, like a computer writes a love song. It's that plus a 6-year-old first writing exercise in kindergarten mashed together.
Yeah.
Because there's no common sense to this story whatsoever, and really seems like it has the intelligence of a machine meets just the innocence of a really, really stupid young child.
Oh yeah, definitely.
High on sugar.
But the story, just to finish this quick synopsis, which is not very quick. The couple are looking for work and they don't have any money, and they're like, we need a place to stay and that sort of thing. So they talk to the mayor, and the mayor's like, well, you dead-faced father can go work in the mines or the lumber
mill.
yard. Oh,
The
the
lumber
mill.
mill. Yeah,
the lumber mill
for the next
forever.
like 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Forever.
Yeah.
Let's be honest here, it's forever.
It was either 1 day or 6 months. I don't know.
And let's be honest here. If it was like 1800s,
yeah.
he's not coming back to the family.
No.
Okay, he's using that mill money and spending it on hookers and whiskey.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys
that's what they
always
did.
assume it's
That's-
hookers and whiskey.
That's what they did.
Maybe he likes a good tabletop game. Maybe he's going to buy like a nice deck of cards.
I'm just telling you.
Like,
that's
this
what they
is
did.
1920, 60,
This is-
40, 2004.
I'm just telling you. That's what they did.
This before hadn't even happened yet.
I'm just telling you. That's what they did. They worked in the mill or wherever. The mill gave them money, and then it was like, oh, you can go to the mill store in the mill prostitute area and buy your mill money and use your mill money to buy mill whiskey and mill prostitutes.
Mill whiskey. Now, how does it differ from mortal whiskey?
The difference is that you're basically paying the mill for your whiskey. That they just paid you.
I'll tell you, lad, you need to get yourself carried off the turkey. You're getting so yellow, even the dogs don't recognize you.
But anyway, so the dead-faced father goes and works in the mill, and the mother, Judy, and her two kids go to live and work with, miserable old bitch, which she does have a name. And the name is...
I thought it was miserable.
Belinda?
No, it's Mrs. Mavilda.
Mavilda.
So, miserable old bitch. So Judy goes to be...
For those playing the drinking game, I guess bitch is the word. It's not what I would have chosen, but here we are.
Ready?
No, it's-
Here we
it's-
go.
it's
Bitch, 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 bitch.
And
Down that beer, bitch, 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 bitch.
Yeah. So Judy goes to basically be the slave of Mrs. Mavilda. And
Which don't the kids feel they're orphans now? Dad abandoned them and they're living
Yeah.
in an orphanage.
Yeah.
And they're little kids. They don't know any better. They probably think mom's an orphan, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think at this point it's indentured servant.
Yeah.
But anyway, the kids, the orphans, basically in their utter grief of basically living a miserable existence, have decided to create a friend out of the Christmas tree that's in their backyard.
How fucking sad of it.
It's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Like,
it is the saddest thing.
Maybe the tree loves you, but like your surrogate mommy gives you splinters. Like, that's just so upsetting.
Well, not even just that. These kids have no human beings to talk to and no human beings to show love, so they reach for the only thing that they think can give them love, which is the tree in the backyard that they give a name. They call it Mrs. Hopewell because they hope it will give them hope.
What? This is they hope well. Oh! What do they do in the summertime when that tree looks like shit?
No.
Mrs. Hopewell's dying.
Yeah. She's dying again.
But anyway, to make a long story short,
Too late.
We're way past that.
So that's basically our setting. And then ultimately what happens is Judy starts to bond with the children, and Mrs. Mavilda finds that this is a threat to her, scheme of getting money from the mayor and spending it on poker and blow. Because I'm assuming that's what she's doing. Like, she wakes up that one scene, and she's like, oh, my head. I'm like, what did you do last night?
Well, no, I mean, she uses the money for poker, but she gets her blow from, like, she'll do the rainbow party. The guys go all around her, and she's on a swivel board, and she just puts on different colored lipsticks and pop, 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 pop to each guy.
You said that.
Yeah. And then she gets all the coke she needs. It's a winter wonderland in that basement.
If you could be like 40% less gross and 100% less sexist, that would be fantastic.
Look, they call her the dumpster.
Can you not? Can you literally not? Good God.
Ready, dumpster? It's Miss Mavilda to you. She puts on her orange lipstick.
I mean, she does have purple lips.
I want to punch you both in the mouth.
Maybe she blew Tinky Winky.
I hate you both so much.
So anyway, the point is that Judy's a threat. So Mrs. Mavilda basically launches a scheme to try to, get Judy arrested.
It is a scheme. She's a schemer.
Once
using
again,
one of her poker buddies.
this is written by a 6-year-old and a computer.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make any sense. Why is this woman who's actually doing good at her orphanage, why is she a threat?
Because Mrs. Mavilda doesn't want to do good at the orphanage. She wants to milk the poor orphans for money. That's it. That's it.
That doesn't make any sense, though.
Doesn't make any sense.
She's technically milking the mayor, I guess.
Yeah. And who's to say that,
Now who's talking about milking the mayor?
Oh.
God damn it, Willis Croft.
She's going to throw her mic at you.
I already hate your ass for making me watch this. We need to really discuss how you're going to speak to me for the rest of our time. And by time, I mean marriage.
That'll be about next 3 hours.
So the point is that Mavilda's plan doesn't work because I guess there was like a traffic jam. Because she basically tried to, the way she tried to get her arrested was by having her poker buddy give Judy a package and then have her pulled over by the cops and say that it was stolen. Because I guess that worked at one time.
Which isn't like when we were kids. Like, remember in the 80s, like when somebody was a threat to somebody in a cartoon, they just tried to kill them?
Yeah, they Wile E. Coyote them.
Yeah. Like Gem and the Holograms, like Eric Raymond would try to blow up the orphanage and just kill a bunch of little kids.
He was a murderer.
Yeah.
He was. He
never
attempted
watched Gem
murder.
and the Holograms.
You're missing out. We need a separate podcast just about Gem. I think I would shit my pants. It'd be the greatest thing of all
I
time.
had never even heard of it until I started dating her, and then I fell in love with that show because it is ridiculous.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
That was the 80s. They just had ridiculous. I mean, you had She-Ra and, He-Man and the Gem and the Holograms.
Well, with Gem, one of the former writers used to write for G.I. Joe, so Gem was always in very physical danger. It's delicious. Anyway,
Chrissy
orphans
Marks.
about to be dead.
Orphans. So, this whole scheme happens, and she isn't able to pick up the package, so the thing kind of falls through. But I guess one of the orphans overhears it and tells Judy's kids about this. So they decide on their own to try to rescue her or something.
I guess we haven't really talked about this aspect yet. I never really realized how bad the acting could be in
it's
an
real bad.
animated piece I'm sure I've noticed it in other things before, but it was so obvious in this just how bad the acting was, and especially they obviously hired actual children to do the children's voices.
Why?
And in particular, didn't you guys just feel that the little girl, that she just
Incoherent.
She just garbled everything, and you could not understand a word she said.
Yeah.
It was very odd.
This is why when shows like Rugrats, when we were kids, they hired adult fucking actors that would do little kids' voices, and then they would amp that up by doing a thing called pitch shift. If you don't know about that, it can change, your voice very high or very low.
That's what South Park does.
Yeah, because
like if you've ever listened to Trey and Matt do the voice, it's horrifying.
Oh yeah, when they do Butters because it's pitch shifted. Yeah,
and they speed change as well.
Butters, and then they pitch shift it.
Yeah,
some of us can just do Butters naturally.
But to go off that, like, hey, this is Butters. That's what he sounds like before
it's
they
like
make the
deep and
adjustment.
slow. Isn't it horrifying?
Yeah.
It's like deep and slow. You have to listen to it sometime. It's so bad.
But
oh my
they
god!
had the ingenious idea, probably because they could pay them at scale or in cookies. I don't know. Something.
They paid them in cookies.
Yeah, is that they could just get children out who don't understand what they're doing.
And they don't also
And they-
understand the context of the words that they are saying.
Yeah.
They're just literally, they probably only have just known how to speak words in maybe the past 5 years or so.
Yeah.
And
they're just reading off the page. They don't know what they're reading.
Nope.
They don't know what they're doing.
No.
And half the time you can't understand a word these kids are saying.
But I guarantee you that they looked at this and said, oh, well, this is a benefit because we've got real children. You can't get any more real than real children.
Which seems like
It just seems like a bad call. Like it's maybe for the right reasons, but
they
it
cut
just
corners
is bad.
everywhere else.
Yeah.
But they did this thing which had to be horribly a giant burden upon
Well,
them
they
all.
probably had to pay the children less as well, though, so that could have
Cookies.
been a cost-cutting measure.
But is it worth all the time you had to spend to rent the audio area because the kids can't get the lines
They
correct?
clearly didn't make them do it more than once.
No.
I mean,
Oh, there are times, they'll flub their line, and it's just
they make
just
it. You
keep going.
hear the flub, and you're like, oh no, that's just the take they went with. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
It's like when we watched last year, We Wish You a Turtle's Christmas, and there's a point where Splinter is singing the 12 Days of Christmas, and he clearly screws up the line, and he calls himself out on it, and it's in the movie.
Oh yeah, they were like, no,
Yeah,
we
they
have to
left
meet
it in
our
there.
schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, the point is that the Judy's kids decide that they are going to go and get Santa for some reason.
Well, it has to be a Christmas movie somehow.
I know that, but anyway, apparently they live.
Nothing about this yet has
but
been Christmas
they
at
live
all.
so close to Santa, and they looked at a map. They're like, "Oh, there's Santa."
Which what do they live in? It looks like
No one knows.
like the inside of a geode. You
Yeah.
know, when you went on a science field
What I'm
trip.
saying is, like, no one knows where they live. They never said this is the country they live in. But the point is that the two kids decide to take the dog Licorice that they've been, harboring
Brian,
in the
who's
orphanage.
Licorice?
The dog.
I thought
Please tell our audience who Licorice is.
I thought you named a new taste treat, and I was like, it'd be really hard to make licorice out of a dog.
No, the dog's name is Licorice.
Well, I got it now.
Okay.
Which the dog's in there because they said, you know what you better do? Put a cute, adorable dog mascot in there because this thing ain't working out.
No. But I guess they hook Licorice up to a sled, and they just go out in the wilderness, and then are attacked by a bear.
All dogs know how to find Santa, right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
a thing.
absolutely.
That's a
Everybody
thing.
knows that. But yeah, they're attacked by a bear, and then somehow the one boy gets back, but the girl doesn't.
She falls to her death.
Oh
Her
yeah, and
grizzly-
that's
grizzly
why
Falls
I
to
watched
her
it.
death.
I watched it. I'm just like, those kids would be fucking dead after about 30 minutes.
Yeah.
They'd be dead after 30 minutes.
The rest of the orphans are like, yeah, you know what, brah? We're gonna stay here.
I'm out.
You
Yeah.
guys go find Santa.
Yeah, you guys go do it. Wink, wink. They've been through this.
Oh,
they
bye.
know. They
Yeah.
know.
This is how they get rid of all the newbies.
So while this is all going on, Mrs. Mavilda decides that she's going to try to cut down Mrs. Hopewell, the tree. She's going to murder Hope in
And
the
she's
backyard.
also terrible in this too. The actress chews the scenery so hard and is mustache twirling the
I was
entire
gonna say,
time.
that's probably the best part of the whole.
It's a
damn-
lot.
that's
It's a
probably the
lot.
best part.
I don't, no,
Lane.
it's not the best part.
Oh yeah, it is.
Lane, you just opened that Christmas package early. Let's dive into the line delivery.
Oh, well, I was going to say I haven't gotten through my synopsis yet, man.
Oh, all right.
We're working on it.
We're
We're
waiting
working
till the
through it.
very end, and then we're gonna break down why this is
Yes,
the worst thing we've ever
absolutely.
seen. Okay.
So she tries to kill the tree by hiring another one of her poker buddies to do it.
Or
this is
hitman.
this is
with
when,
his electric chainsaw, which
Yes.
is gas powered.
Lackey.
seriously.
Because that simple
So-
research could not be done.
So while this is happening, Judy apparently comes back, and she's like, "We're gonna stand up to Mrs. Bitchface," and they surround the tree. The one son comes back, tells them, "Oh, the girl's dead." Basically says that she's dead.
Yeah, which the parents just have a mild response, like
Yes.
the kind you would when you say, "Oh no, we're out of Cheez-Its."
Yeah, and while this is all happening, Ms. Mavilda tells her lackey to go cut down the tree with the children there. Like, murder the children.
Hey, if little Timmy
Sure.
gets scalped, or Isabel loses a nose, shit happens.
Murder the children. The
Fine.
only reason that this doesn't happen is because the dumbass mayor decides to show up.
Yeah. Well, earlier in the movie too, he gave yet another 2 sacks of money.
Oh,
so they could
it's the
buy
same
the kids
sack.
like toys.
It's the
and
same
new
sack.
It's
clothes.
the same 2 sacks.
And then he gets all PO'd because like they don't have new clothes or toys, and he's like, "What if this place gets inspected?
Yeah,
not these
okay.
children are suffering horribly."
Yes.
Yeah, let's not
Mr.
worry
Mayor.
about that.
Yeah.
What if you decided to do your fucking job and like actually inspect the place?
Yeah.
Seriously? So anyway, the mayor stops the chainsawing, the chainsaw massacre basically of the orphans. And while this is happening, Mrs. Mavilda decides, I'm gonna fucking kill the tree anyway because she's crazy. And
Wait, hold for tension.
and
Bitch gets struck by lightning.
Oh my god, that was amazing.
It's the best scene in the history
that,
of film.
I will say that is the highlight
the best scene. That's
of the
best
whole
part.
fucking
It's the best part.
whole fucking TV episode.
And
is
Mrs.
because-
Hopewell, the tree, by the way, if you're not following us here,
It's a tree.
if the tree got like just covered in blood, it would have been perfect.
Oh well, it is.
And the little kids
John
come over
would
and
never
start
stop
Let's be
licking the
honest
blood.
here. I'm going to explain what I think that the whole ending is a utter sham and a delusion. Okay,
It's bullshit.
So, yeah, Mrs. Bitchface gets struck by lightning in a random lightning bolt. Like you don't know where the fuck it came from. There was no storm, no rain, no nothing. It's winter.
Well, that's why they said electric chainsaw, because even though it's gas powered, because that's what gets struck by lightning.
Electric from the sky?
Well, it was the conductor.
No, it doesn't work that way. Okay.
Science.
I mean, I looked at it and I because immediately after she gets struck by lightning and flies the fuck away, Santa shows up. So I viewed it as Santa
Santa killed her.
murdered that bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, she dead. She dead.
Snitches get stitches, bitches.
You fucked with the children for the last time. But anyway, Santa shows up and he has the little girl. And
So unfortunately, they didn't have the guts to kill her off.
no, they didn't.
In my mind, she died of exposure, and then wolves ate her face.
Yeah.
I'd watch.
Well, as I said, I think the whole ending is a delusion. Yeah. But yeah, Santa shows up. He gives everybody presents and shit like that, and
New clothes.
He decorates the tree with magic, which I actually believe that is the entrails of Mrs. Mavilda. Mm-hmm. Like literally, the lightning struck her and she exploded all over the tree, and that's the blood and guts. They don't have the balls to show that, but that's the truth.
And then the kids had a blood orgy under the tree. Oh,
Seriously.
wait, no.
Blood orgy. So yeah, it ends with Mrs. Mavilda showing back up like nothing fucking happened to her.
Well, they chickened out. They couldn't
chickened
just
out.
kill her.
She shows up. The mayor decides to make Judy the head of the orphanage, and Judy and her dead-faced husband, who by the way just shows up just out of the blue,
Out of nowhere.
out of nowhere.
He's
He's only
jumps
been
into the frame at one
Yeah,
point.
he just
like,
jumps in.
back. Yeah.
I'm back with my dead face. And decides that they're going to adopt all the orphans.
Which destroying their business.
And
their new
marriage.
business. Yeah. Yeah. When
You said it. There's no sex anymore.
Yeah. Nine goddamn kids, which by the way, if you count them, there's 7 if you count their kids.
That's true.
That's true.
So he
Yeah.
can't count, and he's gonna raise 7
Listen,
kids.
if
he's
that's your
living-
problem with this movie, then we've failed you horribly.
Let's be honest here. He's living on mill worker salary. There is no money there.
Yeah.
At all.
And especially since they just bankrupt their own orphanage.
Exactly.
They better hope that there's a horrible car accident and mommy and daddy get decapitated. Maybe an Irish family with 6 or 7 kids. All right, we're back in business. We're not going to be separated, are we? Yeah, damn right you are.
Yeah, this is horrible. So yeah, it ends with basically everyone living happily ever after. Even Mrs. Miserable Bitch Face, she even has somewhat of a happy ending.
Oh, somebody used a wrestling reference for me online in my research on this. They referred to it as a heel to face turn.
Oh yeah,
which is a wrestling when you go from bad guy to good guy. Yeah, she
Amazing.
totally turns face.
Turned
and
face.
is like, oh, I want to help you.
It's
and
like for no reason and no motivation.
Near-death experience, bro.
I mean, I just assumed that the lightning rewired her brain.
Well,
Science.
and that's ultimately the end of the whole story. Now, here's why I think, and this will start our discussion of why this is fucking terrible.
What, the acting and the terrible story isn't enough?
But my thing is the whole ending is a delusion of one of the characters. My guess is it's of one of the orphans.
Okay.
Okay?
Because I think it's the little boy who's struck with grief that he killed his little sister.
Yes, that makes sense. Yeah. Because everything up until then is based in somewhat of reality.
True.
Okay? Everything is based in reality.
Except for that whole Santa
point.
thing.
Well, that's what I'm getting at.
Okay.
That part is not based in reality at all.
Okay.
Sorry, little kids, if you're listening to our show, you shouldn't be listening.
Oh my God, no. Get out now. Get out now, children.
now.
Stop listening. I'm telling your parents.
My point
Kids,
is...
listen to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night. You'll love it.
No, I'm telling your parents. Go to bed.
My point is, I think the lightning did strike that bitch, and I think the whole tree was covered in her blood. Okay? And I think that they discovered the body of the little girl, and as a way of coping with everything, it became Santa gave all of us our clothes and blah, 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 and mommy and daddy didn't get thrown in jail because of negligence. And ultimately, the opposite would be I get adopted, everybody gets adopted, instead of the whole orphans are displaced.
So this is a post-traumatic stress disorder, like fever dream.
Yes, that is what I'm saying. I think that everything up until the bitch getting electrocuted is everything after that is a fever dream.
What if this is all from the tree's point of view, and that's why everything is so fucked up? This is how the tree sees reality.
Yeah, it's just like that ending makes absolutely zero sense. It has to be a fever dream. Because, as I said, there's no way that those kids would survive. A fucking bear showed up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they're dead.
When they're finding the North Pole.
When they're finding the North Pole to go find Santa Claus.
Yeah. Guys, what if this is like a post-apocalyptic world? What if this is like 50 years in the future and there's been nuclear war, and that's why everybody has weird, strange bug eyes, and we're rebuilding civilization, so a mill job is like great the way it was like back then, but we know how to rebuild cars and televisions very easily.
So it's Mad Max. It's Fury Road.
Yeah. We've gone a little bit above and beyond that. It's nuclear winter, and that's why it's snow everywhere. It's like 12 monkeys.
That's right. This actually takes place in July.
Yeah. Which is the new Christmas season.
The new Christmas from the before times. Yeah. The long ago.
According to the Elder Scroll.
The Elder Scroll.
The Elder sacrifice on a carousel.
All it was the Elder Scroll is an old Hills sign that talks about Christmas in July for sales.
Oh, hail Hallmark. The Hallmark Channel.
All right, guys. So final thoughts.
Well, we didn't even go into like the.
We said we weren't going to make a long episode.
No, we can talk. No,
it's not even been that long. You were trying to get out of this.
Listen, I wanted to talk about the synopsis, but we can now go into the bad acting.
Why this is the worst thing we've ever seen.
The dead faces, all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Well, I was doing like some looking on this, and something was pointed out to me that like I don't think you always understand when you're watching something, especially something like animation, because it's meant to fool the eye. It's meant to be a trick. It's very minimal animation. There isn't a lot of movement. And I didn't notice that right away until it was pointed out to me, but I kind of went back to some of the scenes and like people blank, but nobody really moves or changes direction, or you know what I mean? Like,
movement costs time and money.
To be fair.
Yeah, of course. I know why.
To be fair, this is 91, so the popular cartoons around that time, like He-Man, for instance, which this is kind of like
by 91.
Yeah, it was kind of the trail end of it.
I don't think did He-Man make it into the 90s?
Late 80s.
Listen,
but my point,
Little Mermaid existed by now.
My point is that cartoons have been popular in the 80s, and honestly, this feels more like an 80s cartoon than a 90s cartoon.
I would, if I had to guess, I would have said this was made in '82.
Yeah,
Agreed.
And the reason I say that is because He-Man, for instance, they basically would only animate the mouth and eyes blinking.
Yeah.
You know, that's all they would do. So
Guys, He-Man went 83 to 85. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm sorry to take a giant shit on your faces, but I had to like.
How about
Why don't
G.I.
you just
Joe?
cut his balls off in front of him? Why
I'm
not?
sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
okay, but to be
Ninja
fair,
Turtles.
Okay,
Ninja
fair.
Turtles.
That's fair.
G.I. Joe. Okay, G.I. Joe was popular around this time too.
Way better examples. Okay, I'm fine now.
And they all did the whole, we're only going to move the mouth and blink the eyes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
You
what's
know?
in this, and it's just interesting because there is such a minimal movement. It's almost easy to be kind of lulled into that and
Yeah.
not realize what's going on. I mean, like, John, you're right on the money. It's because it costs more money.
Well,
you
yeah,
know?
animation is expensive and time consuming.
That's why
And
we
then
outsource it so much.
it's one of those things, yeah, when you want to like cash in on, well, kids are dumb and they like animation and will make a quick buck. Like, you don't realize how difficult of a project you're getting into if you want to make it have even a remote semblance of quality.
Right.
You know, and this is what happens when you rush it for about $50 and the cheapest animators you can find living in somebody's garage.
Right.
You know, it is horrendous. And I mean, on top of that, the animation decisions that they made of giving them eyes that are 70% of their face.
Well,
Scary.
they did that with the children. They didn't really do that with the adults. The adults just had dead eyes the whole time.
Yeah.
The kids were the only ones that had any sort of emotion in the face. Mm-hmm. But the adults just were like dead-eyed zombies. Especially the dad. The dad was by far the most dead-eyed of zombies I've ever seen. Like, hello, this is my wife, Judy. I have to go now.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Bye.
Brian is doing a visual gag now for us on a podcast.
I mean, that's the way.
It's true, though. It's a very good gag. I wish y'all could see it.
We'll maybe throw
One of
something
these
up on the internet.
days, we're gonna put a webcam in where we record
No,
at.
we did a live episode once, and I hated it. I couldn't shift or like rub my face
Well, that's what I'm
or
saying. We'll just put
anything.
in
It
the
felt
corner.
so
We'll just put it in
weird.
the fucking corner, and
Or
someone can
we
watch
could
us.
put them all focused on our groins.
Maybe, and then everyone
Groin
could see
cam.
how much you scratch your junk
We
during
could
the
look
show. And I'm just kidding. He doesn't do that at all. I mean, now
God.
he is.
We could
Thank
look at the
God.
analytics, like who gets the who do people look at the groin of most?
Yeah, but anyway, like the emotion was only in the kids, and as you said, John, you know, the acting wasn't catching up with the kids.
Oh boy.
Faces, you know.
Well, and I mean, like, look, little kids, they're like 6 years old. They don't know what they're doing. They can barely speak coherently. You give them a pass because they're little kids, and they shouldn't have been put in that situation in the first place. It's like
Right.
watching from Justin to Kelly. You can't really make fun of Kelly Clarkson and Justin Green's acting because they're not fucking actors. They were just forced into this. They are doing
Contractually.
the best they can.
Yeah.
But the adults, the actors, like Brian, you just did a spot on father. I have to go work at the mill.
Even the
I
mayor
have to go now.
sucks. Like, you know what it is? I was really thinking about why the dialogue's so bad. I think it's the utter lack of contractions.
Yeah.
There's hardly any contractions. It's not how people actually talk.
Well, and they clearly did the audio editing, and they had to get it within a certain time frame. So they would talk like, you know, they would say, "Hey, I have to go. Where's Judy? There you are, Judy. How are you?"
Yeah, I noticed that too.
There was no natural pause because, like, oh, we got to speed this up.
Yeah,
because
to
it has
fit
to
in a
air on
certain-
TV with
yeah.
commercial breaks to sell
Mhm,
toys.
it's true.
You know.
Yeah. But
That's
I mean,
true.
there was a website that you guys mentioned to me that breaks down this episode.
TVtrope.com, right?
At tvtropes.org.
Oh, .org. My bad.
.org. And it is delicious.
It's right on the money. I mean, like, because
That's
this
the only
has-
word I can use for
This
it.
has a lot of tropes. You know, it has
Oh,
like
my
the narrator,
God.
which is really common. It has, you know, it has orphans, which apparently are just like a Christmas time thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes
A computer made this. They said, okay,
Yeah.
statistically,
You're right.
orphans,
It's so
a
funny.
Christmas tree, snow.
bad guy.
Well, not
Yeah.
even just that. Like, you've got Karma Houdini, Mrs. Mavilda's weekly gambling partners, the ones who knowingly benefited from her habit of throwing away at the money to donate to the orphanage, get off scot-free.
Oh yeah.
Like, no one cared that guy almost, like, fucking chainsaw massacred
right. Fuck that
the
guy.
children, and Judy. But yeah, like this is a great website. Take a look at it, tvtropes.org.
Yeah, there's a lot on there too.
Yeah, but why did you make us watch this?
I'm like
seriously.
I'm like
man.
only like 30% mad now. I feel like I talked it out like therapy style.
Guys, the whole point of this show is to watch the worst Christmas specials. No one wants to hear our thoughts on It's a Wonderful Life and Miracle on 34th Street.
Though,
or do you?
Which is a shame because your James Stewart imitation is pretty much the greatest thing of all time.
Wait, Jimmy Stewart? Well, what you doing, Uncle Billy?
Oh my God. My favorite holiday tradition is when we watch this on Christmas Eve and John does the voice and makes his character say terrible things. It is literally the only time his mom ever gets mad at him, Brian. I wish you could see it. It's the
Can you
only...
do one? Can you do one for us?
Okay, well, the best scene in the movie is when Old Man Potter is trying to, like, bribe him into, like, coming and joining his business. He's like, yeah, Billy, have a nice glass of scotch. Well, don't have this at home. What about a cigar, Billy? A cigar. Only have these at Uncle Billy's wedding. Yeah, what do you think? What do you think, Billy? And he suddenly looks around and is like, well, you know what you are, Potter. Why, you're a scurvy little spider. Well, you know what? No, fuck that. You crippled fuck. I'm going to put you at your chair and watch you squirm like a bitch. What do you think of that, huh? I'll kick you right in the balls and you won't feel it, you limp dick son of a bitch.
I'm dead. I'm dead. No.
George Bailey, I've never heard the Queen's English spoken with such ill rapport.
I mean, that alone is hysterical.
God.
But Brian, it is the only time.
God.
Because John's himself, and we're very lucky because his mom is very cool.
Yeah.
We can speak freely
Yeah.
in front of her, and I mean, John let some shit fly in front of his own mother, where I'm cross-eyed and blind, and I have blood coming out of my nose because I can't believe he said it in front of his own mom. This is the only thing that ever makes her genuinely angry.
God.
And sometimes if John goes too hard after Jesus, and that's it.
Even
you
though
go too hard after Jesus.
There was one time that he went a little too far, and his mom got kind of mad. But she gets way madder anytime he does that. It's a Wonderful Life. She will pause the TV and literally be like, John, stop it.
It's her.
And it's
her favorite movie.
It's
ever.
bone chilling. It's bone chilling. It's the only time I ever see her angry. It's so hilarious.
Man. Oh, damn.
Of course, he does it anyway.
But yeah, so
By the way, I propose if we ever get our Patreon off the ground that It's a Wonderful Life is one that you have to do.
Oh my God, no question, Brian. You don't even know how funny.
But you have to do it in that Jimmy Stewart voice.
I mean, you pick shitty Christmas specials, but you are the funniest motherfucker I've ever met.
Well, this special was quite funny to me for all the wrong reasons. And like I said, if you somehow did not pause this and watch it, now that we have gone over this, go watch it. And listen to us again. And,
at least look at their dead eyes. Look at some screen grabs. Maybe we'll throw some of those up on our Instagram.
We'll throw some screen grabs up
just so y'all can see it.
And as I said, when we post this episode up, I mean, I'm going to include a link to the actual full thing for you all to watch and
enjoy
and laugh at, and I would say drink during this.
Heavily.
Really throw 2 times the amount of bourbon in that eggnog when you go to watch this.
Oh yeah, make it enough so you can go blind.
Absolutely.
Well, the biggest and final question I have, guys, is
sure
that when we watched We Wish You a Turtle's Christmas last year, and we all agreed that it was an elaborate scam. They had a fading property in the Ninja Turtles, and they knew Christmas always sells, so make the cheapest Ninja Turtles costumes you can and shoot on a dime and go out and rush out a Christmas special on VHS and have it and be in Ollie's and Steinmart and places like that.
Farmore.
Yeah, and the kids see,
Farmore, good one.
Yeah, they see the Ninja Turtles and Christmas time. They go, well, this will just distract him while I'm wrapping gifts. And that's how all these tapes entered households. Animation, no matter how poorly done, is not cheap. So this is clearly some kind of weird scam movie, I think. But how did they...
I don't think it's a scam movie.
I think they really thought it would make money.
I do.
Yeah.
I don't view this in the same fashion as I view next week's episode because that
is so mind-bogglingly bizarre.
That is the definition of a scam movie right there. Name actors, shitty animation.
We got so much to unpack.
Oh my God, it's 10 times worse than
but
this.
No,
here's
not until next week. Not until next week.
Oh, can I give him a little piece?
I mean, if you must.
Luke Skywalker himself, Mark Hamill's in it, and it's not the Star Wars Holiday Special.
Yeah.
It's true.
Pretty much.
It's true.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was rough, guys.
So you guys think that they made this with genuine thing in their heart?
I don't think there was anything genuine in their hearts, but I didn't think that they thought it was bad.
Okay, you guys watch Futurama ever?
I don't.
I've dabbled.
You've done okay. There's an episode, and this is the best analogy for this. So there's an episode in Futurama where Fry is trying to learn to play the holophoner. Okay, and he's doing it to kind of impress Leela, who's the one-eyed Cyclops character in the series. Great series, by the way.
Peg Bundy. Yeah.
Peg Bundy, and he every single time he tries to play the holophoner, he creates these horrific monsters and just horrible things that, like, there's Frankenstein that pops up one time, because basically the holophoner is like a saxophone, but it shoots out like visual images.
Yeah.
So Frankenstein head pops up in one scene that's like screaming because it can't stand the sound of the music. Okay. And I view that this is kind of like the holophoner episode. They've had an idea of how a Christmas special should look and sound, but the execution just was way off the mark.
Oh, yeah.
So you're saying they sat in a boardroom and they put up
Yes.
on a marker board, here are things you see in a movie.
Yes.
Tree, Santa Claus.
Specifically, 1990 Coke Santa Claus.
Yeah. Right. And they came up with a list of 40 things. They said, okay, who wants to write a script in the next 23 minutes? And they wrote it as fast as they could.
I don't think a lot of time was dedicated.
They ran out of the building and said, hey, can you talk? Yes. You're an actor in this movie. We'll give you $50.
No, I'm just saying.
Possibly.
I'm just saying that in their heads, they probably thought this was a good special. It's got all the feels, even if there's no story. And that's ultimately what this is. It's a lot of feels.
Guys, this is really
but
sad.
no story.
I was happier in my heart when I thought it was a scam.
I
that they actually
think this
wanted
was a
to make
scam.
something.
I really don't think this was a scam. I think they generally thought they were making a good Christmas story. I just think that it just fell flat in its face.
Oh,
I think they thought they were making a successful one. I
Yeah.
will say. I don't think that they thought it was good.
Yeah, I think there's a big difference there, Lane. I think you're right. Like, they thought it would be successful in terms of it would be profitable, it would be played each year, they'd all collect residuals on it forever.
Yeah.
But they
Yes.
also it wasn't just like an advertisement for Nintendo Wizard.
It's true.
But that's what I'm saying is like those sorts of things I would say are more like just made for commercial sake. I don't view this as made for commercial sake. I think this was literally just made as, hey, let's make a Christmas special, but let's just throw all the shit in that we think might resonate with people. You know? So, But it's terrible. It's fucking terrible.
It's
Do you know that movie, guys, that Robert Rodriguez had his kids write, like Shark
Shark Boy and Lava Girl? Yeah, I've
fight
seen it.
Monkey Face or whatever the hell.
Oh, I forgot that existed.
In
Woof.
Banana Butt or whatever. His kids like kind of wrote, like he wrote it with his children.
Yeah.
Because that's what happens when you're a coked out hack. You know, you're just like, I'm gonna have my kids write a movie. Yeah. In between all my gore fest nonsense.
Hey, I like Sin City.
Human Red Bull. But this is like, maybe that's what happened. Maybe they're like, hey kids, do you want to help us write a Christmas movie? And they went to an elementary school, and every idea the little kids had, they just put into the movie.
It's possible. I don't know. I mean, it's I don't know.
We have to just guess because there's no research to be had on the internet at all.
Yeah.
It's true.
Oh, crazy. So, Len, where can they find you on the Twitter machine?
On the Twitter machine, you can find me at LA_Cruft.
John?
You can find me at Miss Hopewell. I'm sorry, no, that's not right. At the Unreal J Wolves.
At Tree Mommy.
At Tree Mommy. You can find me at Brian Carrington. Also on the Psycho Show page. Be sure to like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Google+. That's Psycho Show. You can also find us on the Epicast Network at epicastnetwork.com. If you have a favorite movie or question you want to throw away, you want to tell us how this movie scarred you for life, you can contact us at cinemapsychoshow.com. And make sure to subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and iTunes. You catch a new episode available every Sunday.
Wait, guys, that tree that Hugh Jackman eats all the tree come from in the movie The Fountain, I think it's from this. This is an extended universe.
Oh my God.
Whoa.
Universe.